Welcome to our Typo life, where today, I, Jacob,
And I'm Kathy. I was like, you were going to forget to say our names.
I did not forget this time. But, well, I did actually forget, but I pivoted halfway through the sentence.
Yeah.
So, what are we talking about today?
Lots of things.
Like?
We have been watching Marvel movies recently.
Yes. Oh my goodness. So, enough that I'm like, okay,
We're done now.
Yeah.
But we did previously. We used to watch Marvel movies a lot. Like older ones we've seen multiple times. Stuff like that. The newer, then we kind of like fell off.
Well, we used to watch them. I think we used to watch them when they came out. Probably
Yes.
pre having more than 2 kids.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe pre having 1 kid.
Yeah.
Before kids.
Really before kids. So we started again to catch up, basically. And I have a really bad memory. And so I feel like I just forget. Like, I don't remember. The older ones, I feel like I remember. But the one, like, there's like the older ones, and then I feel like there's the middle ones that we watched once.
Mm-hmm.
That I'm like, I don't really remember those. And then we're like trying to watch new ones. But I was curious about memory. And do you think that being dyslexic because of episodic memory, do you think you remember stories in general better than, like, I mean, I have really bad memory, but like better than the average person because you just think that way? Like, that's how your brain works.
Okay.
You're like, I have so many thoughts.
It's as if there's like a red warning light on the desk in my brain that anytime you say a statement that my brain is like, oh, hold on, we cannot say that. It goes off and it's like, hold on, we need to put like a million disclaimers on this because
well, not everybody has. Is that what you're gonna say?
Well, no, not even that. It's not even that not every dyslexic person is like like prioritizes episodic memory. It's that as humans, there are so many different ways they remember things. Like memory itself and how good people are at it is kind of a spectrum.
I'm way on the bad side.
Okay, but even that though, like declarative memory versus episodic memory, where declarative memory is your ability to be like, oh, I can just pull up a random fact. Versus the episodic memory where it's like, I can't really pull up a random fact. Every random fact that I pull up is actually part of a not random story.
It's like tied to something.
Yeah.
It's not so independent.
I mean, what I think is interesting about watching these movies and kind of going back to your question, I don't know that I would say having an emphasis. I don't know that I would say being predisposed to episodic memory makes it so I remember them like better than anyone else. What I think is interesting though is when I'm watching, like when we're watching these movies now, as we're watching it, I will like see the person do something and my brain will be like, oh, that reminds me of this other scene from the last movie, and I'll like have that playing in the background in my head.
That doesn't happen with me. I don't think.
I think that's where it's not even that I can remember it all just like at the drop of a hat. It's that when there are those little triggers that pull it back into my memory, then I remember it very well.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
That's interesting. Yeah, I was just curious, like, if you're someone who, anyone, dyslexic or not, or whatever, like, if you're someone who thinks more that way, which I think you do.
Oh, yeah.
I was just curious, like, does that make it so that shows, or, because even shows, like, we'll finish a season of something, and then, you know, often there's like a year or so in between the next season.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I have no idea what was happening in the show. Like, I remember like general stuff. Like, I remember who people are and things like that. But like, in terms of what, you know, there's always like a cliffhanger and then it goes to a new season. And I'm like, I don't remember what the cliffhanger was.
See, but this is the really funny part. We will sit down to watch the next season of a show. And I will be like, I know exactly what's going on, but I can't remember their names. Like, we're like 8 seasons into a show, like 8 seasons into The Rookie, and I'm like,
yes,
what is Harper's name? And you will remember the name, and I will remember the story. But that's almost like the declarative versus the episodic,
right? That's interesting.
Yeah.
Huh.
Do you remember that happening before? Because I particularly remember that with The Rookie.
Okay.
Where we've started a next season, and I'm like, who is that? Like, I know their story, but I don't remember.
I don't remember that happening with you. I think that's maybe happened a couple times with me, but that also like just tracks with my bad memory. I think my brain just doesn't. If it doesn't determine something as being important. It just like gets rid of it.
Okay, so there is a book that I'm listening to right now called On Common Sense Teaching.
Okay.
And it's the subtitle is Practical Insights into Learning Based on Brain Science, or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And currently, the parts that I've heard so far are talking about how you have your short-term memory, and then you have your working memory, and then you have your long-term memory.
Mm-hmm.
And you have multiple mechanisms in your brain that, like, the actual names of the specific mechanisms, I don't want to get it wrong, and so I'm not going to try and do that part. But the point of it is that when we're learning, if you really want to learn something well, like, and actually be able to remember it, not just in 5 minutes, but in 5 days,
Mm-hmm.
there's basically, like, there has to be a relationship between your working memory and your long-term memory to kind of like take it and consolidate it and store it. And then there's a few other mechanisms
It's like
of
that
your brain
movie.
that come in there.
What's that movie?
Inside Out.
I couldn't remember the name.
I was thinking about, okay, tonight we watched Elio, which is the newest Pixar movie.
with
And
our
so I
kids.
was thinking about Inside Out.
Yeah.
So it's very top of mind that, yeah. Anyways,
Mhm.
like the level to which you interact with, and this is where I'm going with this, the level to which you interact with something that you,
Where are we going?
thank you all for coming on this adventure. No, the level or the degree to which you interact with something that you watched after you watch it
Mm-hmm.
determines how well you remember it. Because the
Right.
single greatest factor that determines like how well it gets into your memory, at least according to this book,
Mm-hmm.
is recalling it.
Mm-hmm.
So if after you watch it,
I just forget
you
about
take some
it.
time and you think through like what just happened, what did I see?
Right.
You will remember it so much better than if you don't.
Yeah. Which I don't think I think about it.
And
maybe
I do.
maybe for like a day or two.
Yeah.
We might talk about it or something if it like just ended. the
Well,
show,
I
but-
think with that,
Yeah.
I think when we do talk about it, you remember it better.
Oh really?
Yeah. But I think
I don't know.
usually what happens with me is we will watch something, and then when we go to bed, I will lay in bed and think through the whole thing.
On purpose or like
No, it just sort of happens. It's my brain kind of
Okay.
reflecting on it.
you watch the whole show again in your brain.
I mean, no, just the interesting parts, just the important parts.
That's interesting.
It's very interesting because one of the things this book is talking about is how if you want students to learn well,
Mm-hmm.
you need to structure your teaching in such a way as there's breaks, and during the breaks the point you need really two things. You need the students to be able to either like rest their minds, which means not pulling out their phones and scrolling, but like go stand up, walk around, get a drink of
around.
water, close your eyes for a minute, like allow
Mhm.
yourself to just kind of like think. Or you should have them in groups like talk about what you just learned,
Mm-hmm.
because that also is really helpful.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's really helpful for dyslexic to talk about it for
Mhm.
dyslexics, I think,
Yeah.
too. To like, it's the whole thing of like it taking longer to get something, even
Yeah.
like a process or anything down.
There's so many parts of this book that are so interesting for that. Because,
Yeah.
okay, going back to the working memory and how the working memory versus long-term memory is relevant,
Mm-hmm.
the reality of being human is that all of us have a limited working memory.
Right.
Because your working memory is the part of your memory that holds what you're actively, not just like, oh, I have that in my head, but I'm actually like interacting with that piece of information.
Mm-hmm.
And in general, humans can interact with 4 things at a time. As in,
Mhm.
you can have like 4 ideas going in your working memory, assuming none of them are like overusing it.
Right.
But what's really interesting is that if you have long-term information, as in memory in your long-term memory, information in your long-term memory, there it is, that is relevant to what you're learning right now,
Mm.
then that basically like kind of subsidizes your working memory. And so you can actually hold and interact with more at a time in
Mhm.
that specific thing, which
Okay.
is also one of the reasons that when you have dyslexic individuals, that's kind of why this is so interesting, actually. When you have, I'm excited. Hello. When you have dyslexic individuals who have expertise in an area,
Mhm.
their ability often like expands in that area.
Mhm.
And it's because with dyslexia, your working memory is often somewhat more limited. But then you add all that expertise, and suddenly it's like, oh, I feel like it's not limited because my long-term memory is essentially subsidizing my working memory in this
area. Yeah.
Now that I said it 3 times in a row.
Mm-hmm.
Can
Got
you
it.
recall what I said?
Nope.
Oh my God.
I do not remember. Just kidding.
I think also, like, there's so many, going back to your initial question,
Mm-hmm.
there's so many different types of memory. As in, like, everybody has, like, everybody has a different memory profile.
Mm-hmm.
I'm always very hesitant to compare it in a way that says, like, well, dyslexic individuals are always better at this because...
Yeah. Well, it could just be for you
Yeah.
or this question. Like, because we know that you think more that way. So.
Well, I work with a lot of dyslexic individuals, and there's the whole spectrum of, like, can't remember a thing to, like, remembers every word from every conversation ever.
That sounds exhausting.
It is, I believe.
Yeah. Okay, I have another random question. This, I don't remember which episode we talked about this in, but it was when we were talking about college. And you were talking...
I was like, episode of what? What are we talking
of this?
I am so lost. Okay. Hello.
So we talked about, like, getting assignments done and, like, planners and things. And I think you talked about how you didn't use a planner. So what did you do? Like, did you just look at your syllabi all the time? Or, like, how did you know this is what I'm supposed to be doing for... Because I used a planner. Like, I, like, wrote everything. Like, I would take my syllabuses at the beginning of the semester, and I had my book planner, and I would put in every single, like, this reading is due then. I liked doing it. It was fun for me. That's more my thing, not yours. But what did you do?
I could, at any point in time, tell you off the top of my head everything that I do in every class.
How did you know?
Because I knew. So now I would tell you that it was probably a combination of that's just one of the things that my brain is good at.
Okay.
And probably a little bit of anxiety around wanting to get it all done.
Uh-huh.
But
even, like, reading assignments, like, read chapter 9. Like, not like I have this paper due.
I looked at my syllabuses a lot.
Okay, so you did look at them a lot.
I looked at the syllabuses a lot. It wasn't
Okay.
like I would,
how do you know this? At the beginning of the semester, I write everything down at the beginning of the semester. Jacob looks at them all once and then knows them all.
I just have a syllabus photographic memory. No, not at all. But no, I would always, every week, I would look and be like, okay, this is what has to get done this week.
Mm-hmm.
And this gets into actually a different part of, like, what's funny about my brain. It's not really funny. It's more just, like, indicative of where we're at in life. But when I was at that age and in that phase of life with so little responsibility and so little riding on me. Yeah.
It felt like a lot then. But
I used to be able to hold so much in my head. Like, I would hold all of those things in my head. Even when I started working as a counselor, for the first 3 or 4 years, I could remember everything.
Yeah.
Like, I could remember everything about every client in every session. At least that's how it felt.
Yeah.
And, like, they would come back in and I wouldn't even have to look at my notes to be like, I know exactly what we talked about this last time, like, all of it. And it's funny because now having notes is much more helpful now because there's just so much in my brain all the time that it's like, I can no longer do that. And I think if I went back as a student now, I don't think I would change how I did it. But I think I would end up having to look at syllabuses a whole lot more just because it would be so much harder for me to remember it. But no, I think it was the combination of I look at it at the time every week. And when I look at it, it's like, okay, I know that I have to do that. And so I can just hold that in my head. And I also think, which I didn't understand or really know what this was at the time. I think there was also the anxiety piece of, like, I don't want to fail. I don't want to miss these things. I always have kind of that fear of forgetting. And that always has me going back to check and double check and triple check. And so, like, on my computer, on the desktop, I would have, like, all of my classes would have a folder and I would have the syllabuses in there and I just checked it a lot.
Yeah. Did you ever forget an assignment entirely?
Nope.
I did once.
So whose system is better?
I don't know how I forgot it. Like, I have no idea. And I don't actually know that I used the planner method at the beginning of
Okay.
school, of undergrad.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's what I did then. I know that's what I did later. But yeah, I remember there was one assignment that it was due like at, I don't know, 9 o'clock at night or something. And I remember going to dinner and people were talking about it or something. Like,
Oh my
something
goodness.
sparked it. And it was a paper, but it was a paper where you had to go out and talk to somebody and ask them questions.
Oh my
And so I was like, I don't have time. And this is such a me thing. I just didn't do it. I didn't talk to the professor. I didn't turn it in late.
That is so
Nothing.
you.
I just didn't do it.
That
Which is so
you.
like me. But now thinking about that, like, what on earth was I doing? Like, I didn't even turn
What?
it in.
D-
Like, I just didn't do it.
That is so like you, but also what?
Yeah. Like, it didn't even cross my mind. And this is me. Like, I don't like to do things unless I'm gonna. I don't like to do things.
Don't like to do things.
I don't
Okay.
like to do things. You know this. I don't like to do things unless I think I'm gonna do well at them.
Mm-hmm.
And so, I think there's something with that of like, I was like, well, I'm not gonna. I don't know. It's like, well, you get a 0 if you don't turn it in. Like, get something. It's better than nothing. But like, to me, it was just like I missed it, and it was like I didn't even think, like, it didn't even cross my mind. And I also am not the kind of person. I wasn't like close with my professors. I didn't talk to them outside of class. Like, that was not me at all. But like, it didn't even cross my mind to like talk to the professor and be like, I totally forgot. And they would have just been like, turn it in late, and you get 10% bumped off or whatever. Like, I just didn't do it.
That is
Are you
wild.
shocked?
I am having a moment right now.
And I also think I didn't want to do the assignment. I mean, that wasn't why I didn't do it, but
Oh my
like, I
goodness.
didn't want to go out and talk to people.
Yeah.
So I think that was also part of it, because I was like, I don't want to do it. But also that was why I was like, I don't have enough time to get it done. Like, I can't get it done in 2 hours or an hour. It like wasn't very much time. It was like, I figured this out at 5 o'clock and it was due at 6 or something like that.
Yeah.
But I didn't even think of like, I could go out and do it right now and turn it in 3 hours late. Like, I didn't even think about doing that. I don't think. Not that I remember. Don't remember very well. But
We are so different.
what would you have done in that situation?
I would have walked out and gone and found somebody and just tried to get it done as fast as possible.
Yeah.
I would have just been like, oh, this is going to happen.
Let's
And
do
then I
it.
would have sent the professor an email after I finished it
Yeah.
and been like, I'm so sorry. I forgot.
Yeah.
Like, please take this.
Isn't that funny?
That is very funny. And
Yeah.
that is also that type of assignment. I could see other assignments you having a greater likelihood of at least still trying.
Yeah,
But
because
you
because if I didn't think I could get it, it's because I didn't think I could get it done
Well,
in
and
time.
you hate talking to people.
So yeah,
Like,
yeah, especially like that, like
Yeah.
just going up to a random person and asking them questions.
Yeah.
So yeah, but it definitely was like, I knew I couldn't get it done
Oh my goodness.
in the amount of time.
Babe.
Are you so shocked?
I am a little shocked. And it's very funny, but it makes sense because the way that going back to like how our brains work,
Yeah.
I can hold on to stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Like I can hold on to the things that I need to do in general, maybe less now than I used to.
Yeah.
You don't remember anything. Like if
Yeah.
it's not written down, it's not
Mhm.
real in your life.
Yeah. Like even when I had my job later, like I was an administrative assistant, and I had like checklists for everything of like, this is the process, this is how we do it, and I would look over them a lot, and like, yeah.
Okay, so we have shared grocery lists
Yeah.
that are on our phone.
Mm-hmm.
And this also makes me laugh. You will go to the store. So I get notifications when you add the context here is I get notifications every time
I know
Kathy
exactly
adds,
what you're gonna say.
Kathy adds things. And you will go to the store and then you'll add a bunch of stuff that you have to buy that we like milk. You buy milk every week and you'll go to the store and be like, I'm going to put milk on the list. And it's like, what, are you not going to like see the milk right there when you walk by it and be like, oh, I buy that every week.
Milk is not a good example. The reason that I do that is because of where things are in the store. Like if I don't, okay, so I feel like I need to explain myself. The way that I do our meals is I don't necessarily plan these are the meal. Like at this stage in life, I'm not making crazy meals. But if I get to the store and I am like, okay, this is how many meals we need. And I'll just buy like, chicken, rice, vegetables, whatever. Like it's not like a casserole and I need a million ingredients. It's like usually separate. Like here's your protein, here's your whatever, here's your vegetable. But if I'm doing like a good example of why I do this is if we're getting like hamburgers. If I decide when I'm at the store, we should do hamburgers. The buns are on one side of the store and the hamburgers are like right at the end of my like how I go. So I have to put hamburgers on. If I get buns, like I'll grab buns, but then I put it on the list so that I see it when I get to the end of the store. Otherwise, I will not get hamburgers and I'll have gotten buns. But yes, milk is a little extreme.
Every time I'm like, oh yeah, because you were going to forget that. Which I feel like you have forgotten milk once.
Well, there you go. Which, I don't think I ever have.
I still like... It is very funny how different we are in regard to that because you do that with everything. It's not even just the grocery list. It's like our shared calendar. You add everything to it, and I get all these notifications about
like what?
All of the things.
What's an example for that?
Okay, this is not even in my shared. I just know that you do this. If there's anything that has to happen with the kids, like if there's something they have to bring to school, you put that in the calendar.
Yeah.
But then also like all of the therapies, you put those in the calendar. But
well, those aren't always the same every week.
That's true. Those are very not the
next
same.
Week, they're not.
And when I use a calendar, I put things on the calendar and then I never, ever delete them. And even if they're not going to happen anymore, a lot of the time, I will just leave it there and be like, I know that that's not going to happen. If it's not my work calendar things.
What do you mean you leave it on there even if it's not going to happen? Like an event?
Yeah.
Oh, that's annoying. I like it to only have on it what's happening.
And I get notifications constantly of you deleting things and I'm like, what?
What?
I think you also, maybe you don't do this anymore. I feel like you used to delete events after they happened also.
Yeah, I think maybe I did. I don't remember.
I think I gave you a hard time about it at one point because I was like, why would you delete it? What if I want to look back at my calendar and know what happened?
Know what happened. No, I don't. Yeah, I definitely do that anymore.
I just have to say, despite all of this grief I'm giving you about this, I do really appreciate how organized you are. And I love that everything is in our calendar now. And that's actually really helpful for being able to know what's happening. It's also really important to me that we have milk on the grocery list, so I don't forget to buy milk if I ever go.
Well, you better put it on.
Should I tell Siri too?
I think it's already on there.
Okay.
Probably not. I'll put it on when I get there.
Thank you.
So another thing that we did this week was we're trying to put together a list for your website that has resources for dyslexic people. And it's a lot of different categories. And by now, by the time this podcast comes out, the list is definitely up. And one of the things that we're trying to put on the list is mental health counselors who specialize in dyslexia. And that is hard to find, but also very important.
Yes.
And you had an experience in therapy at one point when you were in grad school?
Yeah, when I was getting my doctorate. Yeah. When I was getting my doctorate, I went to a therapist and I brought up being dyslexic. And that was a point in my life where like I had already learned a decent amount about it. And it was something that I kind of wanted to talk about, but I'm not a very pushy person. And so I'm like, if you don't want to talk about it, I'm not going to talk about it. And I brought it up there and my therapist was just kind of like, okay.
Like, okay, you're dyslexic.
Yeah, like, is that relevant? And it was just like, that was the end.
Yeah.
Like, no follow-up questions, no curiosity, no interest. And sure, I could have probably pushed a little bit more. But there are so many things that in therapy, like if you're in therapy and you bring up like, oh, my parents got divorced, or oh, this happened, you almost can't stop the therapist from being like, tell me more. And so to have something where it's like, this is a big deal. This is a big part of my life. And you bring it up and the therapist is kind of like, okay, like, so that feels incredibly invalidating of the fact that it like is significant. But also it just doesn't give you confidence that this is a space where I could talk about it and you would know something about it.
Right.
And when you're dyslexic, yes, like there's been so much research for so long about dyslexia and reading. But when you're dyslexic, it impacts so much more than that. Like that's evidenced just by the fact that we're sitting here talking about this, because if it wasn't, if dyslexia wasn't a big deal outside of that, we wouldn't be here talking about this because I wouldn't spend my life talking about this.
Right.
And it's really sad how few therapists, how few mental health professionals like know anything about it or are curious about it beyond just being like, oh, isn't that a thing you have when you're a kid?
So we put out like are there any out there onto your social media to try to add them to the list.
Yeah.
To see if anybody either is one or has been to one,
Mm-hmm.
or so it's people who are licensed counselors for mental health, but who specialize in dyslexia. I'm just specifying because there's therapists for dyslexia who are reading.
If you have the official title dyslexia therapist, then you're not a mental health therapist. You're a interventionist who does reading. Yeah.
Right.
But
yeah,
every time I bring this up on social media, because I've done a few posts about this over the years, I'm always like, I know that I probably am not the only one.
Right.
Like if you go to my website, it is all about dyslexia. Like that is my whole thing. That is my focus. Like I introduce myself, my elevator pitch about me is I'm a therapist who specializes in working with dyslexic individuals.
Yeah.
That is the whole thing. And so I've always assumed like I'm not the only one, but also I never seem to find any. And when I've made previous posts, people will be like, oh, I work with dyslexic individuals, but it's never the same. It's never like, this is who I work with. It's like, oh yeah.
I've had a client who is dyslexic.
And
yeah,
it was fun. Because I posted, well, I recorded, you posted a video asking for like more therapists, and we got a few. Like there are actually some practices out there where they are very dyslexia centric. Most of the ones we got are not dyslexia centric. They're just like,
it's one of the things that they do.
It's one of the few.
But there also were people who they told us, yeah, that's my specialty, and then we went to their website and literally could not find the word dyslexia.
Yeah,
on
like
their
you
website.
You went to
through
every page.
Yeah, because we got like 15 or 12 recommendations or people. It was mostly from people saying that's what I do, and I went to all their pages and I would search on each page like dyslexia, and some of them it was like you do not mention dyslexia at all. Like I don't care if all your clients are dyslexic, even, but like you don't mention it on your website. So if a dyslexic person is going to go to your website, like.
Yeah,
it doesn't seem very like, oh, this is for me.
In the video where I requested it, I gave like very few criteria, but I gave the criteria. I need to be able to go to your website and see that dyslexia is there. And I need it to not be in a list of 30 things.
Right.
I need to be like, here are my 5 things I work with, and one of them is dyslexia.
Yeah.
So anybody who submits their thing, I mean, there is a classic joke in like therapist Facebook groups, just because therapists are this way and it is so obnoxious. But a therapist Facebook group will have a post that's like, hey, I'm looking for a therapist who can work with this client with this insurance using this modality in this location. And therapists will respond. And you would think it's a joke, but it's serious. A therapist will respond and be like, well, I don't exactly work with that group. I don't take that insurance. I'm not totally in that area, but I am over here. And if they are willing to pay cash, then I could work with them.
You're like,
it's like,
I'm asking this for a reason.
What?
Like,
but it feels like that. And I'm sure like for anybody who put that and who's listening, like, I'm sure there's good intent. And I'm sure that to a certain degree, like, they probably do. But I'm trying to only point people in the direction of people that it's like, yes, I cannot personally vet everybody. So I need you to have put some effort into making sure that if I send a dyslexic person here, they're going to open your front page and feel greeted by somebody who knows about dyslexia, who is like open to talking about it, who's like affirming of like, yes, this is a thing. This is that. It matters. Yeah.
And we did get some people who they did tell us like, I don't specialize in this, but I am dyslexic. And they still gave us their website and stuff like that. But we aren't including them on the list just because they don't specialize in it. And maybe they will down the road. And I do think that's a step better than somebody who doesn't, like, it's better than just your average therapist who doesn't know anything about dyslexia. Like somebody who is dyslexic, even if that's not their specialty, I think that's better. I wouldn't recommend them as somebody who specializes in it just because they are dyslexic.
That brings up another really interesting thing that we talked about, where there's a big difference between being dyslexic and having grappled with your experience with dyslexia enough to sit in the room with somebody else who's dyslexic and make space for theirs.
Mm-hmm.
Because so many people with dyslexia have such different experiences in life that if your experience is at odds with theirs, and like in daily life,
Mm-hmm.
that's totally fine. Like, it's not your job to make space for somebody else's experience
Right.
in every situation. Like, sure, we could get into the nuance of like family relation, whatever. But in a therapy space, if you're the therapist, it's your job to be able to hold space for the other person.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's where I'm like, even if you're dyslexic, I can kind of trust that if you're a therapist, you would do that. I would trust it more if you were really open about it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if you were like, I'm dyslexic and I work with this,
Right.
then I trust that you've done the work to do that. I'm overly cautious, and I'm protective.
It's good. It's
I'm
good.
protective of people.
It makes sense. And if anyone is listening who is a therapist, mental health therapist, who specializes in dyslexia,
Drop
let
it in
us
the
know.
comments. Go to
Or
the,
if that is what you do and it's not on your website, or make it more clear on your website, or, and then give us your website. The resource page has a place where you can submit. You can you can request to add a resource to the page by filling out the form.
And also, just to be fair, there are very few to no resources to educate therapists about dyslexia, which is a segue.
Mm-hmm.
So, in addition to writing this book, that thank goodness is going to be done being written by the time you're hearing this, my next project that I want to work on, that I'm just going to commit to doing this right now.
I think it makes sense too.
The next thing I'm going to work on is actually starting to make a curriculum.
Training.
I'm going to start making trainings for therapists to learn about dyslexia, to be able to treat dyslexic individuals better. So that is the next phase of what I want to do. And I'm really excited about that.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's going to be really fun. It's going to be a ton of work. Can't possibly be more work than this
Than
book,
writing
though.
a book. Surely not.
But yeah, I want to do that because I do think that in addition to just general public not understanding dyslexia, I do think the lack of resources around training people to better understand it does not help.
Mm-hmm.
And so if I can create something that will then help people better know and understand, that would be good.
And the goal is to make one. You'll probably make multiple different ones, I would guess. Maybe I was just thinking you could do one like for parents of dyslexic kids too. But I think doing one that's for therapists, and the goal is that it would be like something that you could get CEs through.
Yeah.
So that you get credit for it.
With therapists, like, we're all really busy. We get that. So if you want us to actually do a training, there are always going to be therapists who will do it just because they want the knowledge. But the majority will only do it because they have to get continuing education credits.
Right.
So being able to offer that would be huge.
It'll be more work to make it that way, but it'll be worth it.
I mean, I can already think of a lot of different, like, educating just about what dyslexia is, educating about like a lot of the experiences dyslexic individuals have, educating about like what it actually means to be a therapist who is supportive of dyslexic individuals in a therapeutic space. Like, there's so many different elements that I'm like, it's going to turn into 5 to 8 hours of courses.
It's going to turn into
really cool.
your book, but in a training.
Well, except it'll be so
I know.
different because my book is very much directed at the individual to help them better understand themselves and like find better tools. Versus this.
So your next book will be therapist book for dyslexia.
We'll see. We will see. There are so many different directions that we could go because it's in the world of blue versus red ocean, where
what is that?
Okay, there's a Blue Ocean Strategy as a marketing book that I read like a decade ago. Okay. But it's basically the idea that a blue ocean is an ocean where the sharks haven't come and started attacking, and so there's not blood all in the water.
Got it.
So it's basically like open space where there's plenty.
I'm only slightly tracking, but okay. I don't get how that
like,
relates. But
no, it's that this space is the blue ocean. This space is the space where like the sharks have not come and eaten at all. Yet. There's so much opportunity here, and it's not overdone. Because I mean, I look at a lot of other things. Like ADHD is a great example. If you're a therapist,
that's a red one.
You can't go a week without getting 3 pamphlets of being like, hey, here's another training to become an ADHD specialist.
Yeah. There's a lot on that.
Yeah, I've taken several.
Mm-hmm. In you posting about this, we heard from a lot of therapists who were like, there should be a training, or, can people asking you to put together something, or people saying there's a need for a training, or if there was a training that they would take it. So we also are hoping that with the training, once the training is done and people are doing it, then those people can update their websites and then we can put them on our list of people, and it can be like, we know all of these people have taken this training and feel really good about like, these are people who we know have completed this. And like that would be awesome.
That would be
that
ideal.
would be
That's
really
the goal.
cool. Yeah,
long term, that's the goal.
Yeah,
a year from now when we're sitting here talking about this, hopefully we'll be pretty much at that phase.
Yeah, I think that'd be really neat if it was like all these people that we're recommending are people that we know have taken this training and are like putting in the effort to learn about it and all of that.
So if you're interested, it's good. But I'm gonna
but
segue.
By the time this comes out, the training will not be.
Yeah, the training.
Hopefully, we'll be the book will be done, and we'll be working on that.
Yes.
But yeah.
Do you ever think about how when we were younger, like when we were in college, we would think about like, oh, what are we doing next week? Or like, do you think we'll get this done next month? And I literally just said, by next year.
Yeah.
The way that life seems to go faster, but also the way that so many of the projects we end up working on are long-term projects. That feels so different than being a kid or even being a college student.
Yeah. Whereas like maybe you would work on something for a couple weeks or something would take a month.
Yeah.
Or
it's like writing this book. I was talking to my brother the other day and he was like, it feels like you've been writing this forever. Which in the grand scheme of writing books, I have not been.
Yeah.
But to me, it also feels that way.
Feel like.
Because I started writing it 3 months ago. And since I started, it has been 90% of my free time. Yeah. Free time. Yeah. And like, it's been so much. And I have been so, like, I've gotten to the point where I'm like,
ready to be done.
Are we at the top yet? I think in the last episode I talked about like the experience of getting to what you think is the top of the mountain, and then there's another. It's the false peak. Because
last week I think you talked about finishing the first draft, and now you're editing.
I'm editing, and the first. So there's a few chapters are already like through the edits, and Jasmine told me this week that she has seen some of the like layouts of them
that you haven't seen yet.
That I haven't. She was like, I've seen them. It's really exciting. It looks really good. I'm excited to show you when like they're ready. And I'm like, are they ready now? But also the next chapter, like chapter 4, for anybody, chapter 4 is a labor of love. Chapter 4 was the next chapter that I edited.
Last weekend.
And I went into it thinking, okay, I'm in, by me editing, I mean, she has already edited it. Jasmine has edited it and given me a extensive amount of feedback of like, can you add something here? Can you change this? Can you tweak this? Like, what would you think about restructuring this? Could you add something here? I went into editing that chapter and was like, this is going to take me like 4 hours, right? It took me 8, 9, 10 hours.
Classic example of the time blindness.
So long. It's very true. But it took me so long. And by the end of the weekend, like it took me the entire weekend of all of my writing time. And by the end, I was so discouraged.
Yeah.
I was like, I have to do this to 10 more chapters. This is awful.
Did you even finish chapter 4 over the weekend?
Yeah, I did.
You did? Okay.
I finished it. I got to a point where I was like, I am so over it. I don't care anymore. I'm just sending it back to her and being like, what I missed, I'll get on the next pass.
Yeah.
And this is part of why she's so amazing, is that I emailed her I emailed her on Monday, I think, or Tuesday, and was basically like, I'm struggling. I feel bad. Like, this feels bad. And okay, this is another interesting thing that this didn't fully make it into the email, but I've been thinking about it all week. One of the things that I wrote about in that section of the book was the guilt of feeling like a burden from relying on others. And that is so deeply what I'm experiencing here, being like, I'm so sorry. I'm handing you all of this work again. Like in my email where I handed the draft back, I was like, you handed me something really tidy and I have untidied it.
Yeah.
Like I'm handing you a mess back.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like she is so encouraging every time, being like, no, it's great, you're doing a great job, like everything you added to this chapter this weekend is amazing, like I love it, it's really good.
Mm-hmm.
And
then she's gonna edit it all.
I
Not
know,
change it, but like make it better. She makes it better.
Well, she did.
That's
No,
what she does.
I looked at it today. Like,
Yeah.
she already had it back to me, and
Right.
so I'm already going through her. We're going
Mm-hmm.
through the next round, which
Yeah.
there's so much less. It's so much like there's so many,
Mm-hmm.
so much less feedback. It's so much.
Yeah.
It's closer. It's so
Mm-hmm.
more polished.
Didn't you ask her, like, am I as much work as other authors?
Yes,
like,
that was one of the things that made it into my I'm dying emails.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I asked that and she did not answer.
Okay.
Which
Nice.
I'm like, I noticed you sidestepped my question there.
So
But
she just didn't say anything about it?
No, she told me not to worry about how much work it is for her.
Okay.
That this is her job to do.
Mm-hmm.
And
Aw.
I'm like, yes, but
But also it is very funny because it's like, obviously she knows you're dyslexic.
yeah.
It's not like,
Well,
oh, by the way, I didn't tell you. Like, you know, like she obviously
come as a
knows
shock.
this. Like, I would, yeah. I'm sure she sees the things that it's like, yeah.
Here's another funny part about this. Like this whole experience of writing a book as a dyslexic person. She knows I'm dyslexic. I'm writing a book about dyslexia. She has read more of my writing at this point than anyone else except you.
Yeah.
So she knows.
Mm-hmm.
When I went and wrote her this email this week, I labored over my 5-line email for half an hour probably.
Mm-hmm.
And for some reason, I'm still like, I just want it to not have mistakes in it.
Mm-hmm.
And I sent it. And then I was looking at it after I sent it and it was like, oh, yep. Missed words in that sentence.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just like that feeling of like, oh, really? Like I'm trying so hard. And
Yeah.
she knows. Like, it's not like
Mhm.
she's going to be like, what?
Yeah.
Is he illiterate? It's like, no.
I mean, I try to fix most of those. I read
know.
all of it before it goes to her,
Mhm.
and I try to fix all that stuff.
Yeah.
But I'm sure some of it's still in there. But
It's fine. It's part of the experience. It's just a
Mhm.
weird part. I'm incredibly grateful for all of the work that you've done, all the work she's doing. Like,
Mhm.
it's really helpful. And I'm really excited about the book.
I feel like we say that every week.
I can tell so much of like how it gets like shaped and changed and like
Mhm.
it's getting better.
I still haven't seen any of it finished.
Yeah.
Like, and then I don't even mean just the illustrations, but I'm curious to see the writing actually, like, because I know what it's like before it goes to her.
Yeah.
But I only read it that one time. I read it after your first draft. I
Mhm.
don't read, like, after you're doing these edits and sending them back to her. Like, I don't read those.
Well, and I'll send her
So-
like a 4,000 word chapter and she'll send it back to me with 2,500 words.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which-
So I'm excited to see, I'm super excited to see the illustrations, but I'm
Yeah.
almost, maybe not more excited, but I'm excited to see, like, the words actually.
It's so different.
And what
Like, it
I'm
is-
curious to see is, like, does it still sound like you?
I
Which I'm
can-
sure it does, but, like, do you know what I mean? Like,
there are
that's-
parts of it that
yeah.
definitely do. And
Yeah.
there are parts of it. So she's British.
Mm-hmm.
And there are parts of it that sound a little bit like her, which I like.
That's
like
funny.
brilliant. She loves the word brilliant.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
so
yeah.
that's in there a few times.
Yeah.
And I kind of like it. And there are a lot of
Yeah.
things where she'll put it in and I'll be like, ooh, I like that. And so,
Mhm.
yeah.
Yeah.
But
I know it'll sound like you still. Like, you
Yeah.
wrote it. Like,
Yeah.
it's not like she's changing everything.
mostly what she's
But-
doing is getting rid of
Rid
half of my words.
Yeah. Well, you
Yeah.
you add a lot of extra words when you write.
What I say.
So.
I do like saying extra words. That's why we're here talking still. Yeah. I have a lot to say.
Mm-hmm. So right now you're working on the second round of edits for chapter
Mhm.
4.
And I have also looked at the next chapters that I'm editing. Like I've
Mhm.
looked at her feedback
Yeah.
and it's not it's not quite the bloodbath that chapter 4 was.
Yeah.
Even that made me feel more encouraged. I'm like, I should have probably I almost wish I had seen that before I started
Yeah.
working on chapter 4 to be like,
Yeah.
okay, they're not all
Gonna be like this.
going to be this. Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah. And you're really not that far behind. I say that, and then she could, like, edit it really fast or something, but you're not like you're behind the deadline. I think we talked about that last week. Like technically at this point you were, according to their deadlines they gave you, you were supposed to be done everything now.
Like 2 days ago was supposed to be the end of the edits.
Of
but
the
I'm
edits.
like, there's no way
but
we could have
she's
done that.
not even done all the edits.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, I always take that as like, it must be fine because like she knows. Like she's working for you, but she's working for them.
She talked about that
you know?
in her response email too. She was like, I know we're a little bit behind, but like we can catch up.
Yeah.
And I mean, her whole email was just very encouraging. I think it was longer than the email I sent her, and it was all basically encouragement.
And it probably took her 2 minutes to write it.
I don't want to talk about it, but yes, it probably did. It's fine. She never sends me anything on the weekend, which is kind of a relief because I'm like, okay.
Does she doesn't work? Does she? Do you think she works on it on the weekend? She just doesn't send you anything?
I have never seen or gotten any notifications from her doing anything on the weekend. In my experience with working with all of these people from Europe, they are very good at taking the weekend versus us who are like,
well, you
Saturday and Sunday, the best day to work.
It's when you have to. You don't have an option.
Yeah.
Like you would have to not see your clients. Like you are writing this book while maintaining all of your normal work.
Yeah.
Which is why you're writing it when you're normally with the kids and I.
Yeah.
Like
I cannot wait to be done.
Yeah. Which you have, like, since you've been editing, you've
cut back a little bit.
You've come back. You're around a little more.
I'm trying really hard.
Yeah.
And I think,
which is nice.
I'm hoping we'll see. We'll check back in next week to find out how this went. See how my time blindness is. I'm hoping, based on what I have from her right now in this moment, I think I can get all of it done in less than this whole weekend we're about to have, so that there might actually be a window of time that I have this weekend where there's nothing that I can do on the book.
Good.
So long as I don't get an email from her over the weekend, which, again, I don't think... There was one time I've gotten an email from her because we were meeting on Monday morning, and so she, like, Sunday night sent me something about meeting. But yeah.
But not, like, edits.
I'm really hoping.
Yeah.
We'll see. I tried. I started today working on it. Like I had a little bit. I had like 20 minutes, 30 minutes, and okay, we got this.
We'll check back in next week. Because you think you might be suffering from a little bit of time.
No. We're gonna get. Do you not want me to? Come
I
on.
do want you to. You got this, baby.
Channel my inner optimist. Yeah.
Yep. Well, I think that's all we got for today. If you enjoyed this episode, give us a review, give us a comment, let us know your thoughts.
If you're excited to read
Put in the comments, go Jacob, you got this.
I'm already done, thank goodness. Yeah.
It'll be good.
It will be. It's really fun. Like again, as I've said before, I'm really grateful for the opportunity. Like it's awesome. I'm really excited about what it is, and I think it'll be really good for a lot of people. I mean, I'm benefiting from it a ton.
Yeah, just from writing it.
Yeah.
That is true.
So, on that note, whatever time of day it is, wherever you are, have a lovely rest of your day.
Bye.